The House passing the GOP tax bill with the Senate version still up in the air, but we do know some of the proposals, including a policy that would be historic if enacted. Senate Finance Committee Chairman Orrin Hatch endorsing a plan that would include paid family leave. That legislation put forth by Nebraska Senator Deb Fischer, and she joins us now. That must be very pleasing to you to have this being embraced. You've been pushing for this.
Well, I'm thrilled that Chairman Hatch put it up in his chairman's mark in the Senate Finance bill.
How does it work?
Well, it is a historic bill that we're going to be passing. It is a voluntary measure, a 25% tax credit to employers who provide paid family leave to their employees. And these are for employees who make less than $72,000 a year. So it is really targeted for hourly workers, those folks who don't have the options of having paid family leave. We know that large companies provide that for their employees, but smaller businesses, it's more difficult. So in this way, we can incentivize them to offer it.
Senator, there's been a lot of praise for your proposal. Pew Research found that 87% of Americans favor your solution to paid leave. The American Action Forum's analysis found that Americans are extremely supportive of this approach, but that doesn't mean there's still not a rough road ahead when it comes to the Senate and their take on this tax plan. Where do you see things going next?
Well, for my part in it, I'm glad it's in the chairman's mark. It had support from Chairman Hatch. It had support from the Republicans on the committee. And as you know, this would be the first time in the history of this country that we would pass a paid family leave proposal. And again, it's targeted to people who really need it. You know, these are people who could take an hour or two off to be able to take their child to a doctor or help an elderly parent. So they don't have that benefit now, and I think we need to reach out and offer this as an incentive. And Americans support it, as you said. It is very popular. It is widely supported across this country.
Senator, so the House just passed their tax plan, and as I mentioned, the Senate is not so sure that they have the votes to pass theirs. I want to show you Congressman Steve Scalise really talking about the differences between the two plans. Listen.
I'm encouraging the Senate to go and pass a bill. I think it's important that they're moving through right now in committee and ultimately getting on the Senate floor after Thanksgiving. Hopefully they get their bill out not long after Thanksgiving so that we can actually go to a conference committee and resolve the differences between the House and Senate and get a bill on President Trump's desk by the end of this year that lowers taxes and creates jobs and gets our economy moving again.
So some make the case that there's more differences than there are similarities. Some say that, they're not so far apart. Here's what the American people think. I want to show you this new Quinnipiac poll. Shows as for the Republican tax plan, the ideas that are out there and on the table right now, 52% disapprove of the Republican tax plan, 25% approve. How do you plan to win over more fans of this tax reform?
Well, by explaining what's in it. I had three priorities when we entered into tax reform and tax cuts. First of all was to be able to provide tax cuts to the middle class so that people could keep more of their own money in their pocket. We do that in our tax plan. We provide for a child tax credit. We double the standardized deduction. People are going to be able to keep more of their own money. Secondly, we want to make sure that small businesses can grow. We all know that they're the drivers in our economy, so we want to be able to offer incentives to them as well. And third, we need to be competitive globally, and that's also covered in our plan. So I'm going to be spending the week in Nebraska. I was there over Veterans Day for 2 days. I'm back about every weekend, and I'm explaining this plan to Nebraskans. And I can say for the most part, we've had a great reception. People understand that this is an opportunity and we can't miss it. We need to get this passed so that we can turn this economy around.
The pressure is on, and I know many of your colleagues, the House is already leaving for Thanksgiving, and I know many of your colleagues will be leaving soon for the Thanksgiving break as well. Senator Deb Fischer, thanks for coming on with us.
Thank you.
Good to see you.